This is the plaintiff, Roy. He says he and the defendant became fast friends after a hospital stay, and he ended up laying out money for him to buy clothes. When he asked him for the money back, the defendant told him he had friends in high places who would put him in a wheelchair and take care of him if he kept at it. That's when he got scared, called the cops, and here they are. He's suing for $500, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Frank Milonis. He says the plaintiff took him to a clothing store, picked out some clothes for him, and told him they were his treat. Then the plaintiff sent him a bunch of sexual texts, which shocked him. He had no idea the guy was looking for an intimate relationship with him, and it got really out of hand because the guy texted him like 100 times a day. When the plaintiff saw he wasn't interested, he became angry and wanted to be paid back for the clothes, which were a gift. Oh, him? Ha! He's accused of taking advantage. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Roy, you've asked us not to mention your last name. We'll respect that. You're suing Frank Milonis for $500 that you say he owes you, $158.65 of it for clothes that you loaned him money to buy, and the rest of it for harassment.
Correct.
And you've got a counterclaim against him for $5,000 for harassment. Okay, let's hear all about this.
I met Frank in the hospital, at Roosevelt Hospital.
Say it again.
At Roosevelt Hospital.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have an ear infection. So I was in the detox program and he was in a rehab program.
For drug issues?
Yes.
Okay.
He stayed there for, I don't know, over 28 days. He asked me for my number when I left. I gave it to him. He was the only one that asked me for my number. And then when he got out, he called me and he told me a situation about how his brother had sent him $2,000, but that his mother was holding it and not giving him any of the money, and he needed the money for clothes because he was going to be starting work. And I've been in that situation before. I felt really bad.
His mother was holding it. Why?
I have no idea.
Because she didn't trust him?
I guess.
Well, then why didn't she just take him shopping?
I have no idea.
Does this story check out?
I never talked to the mother.
All right, so go ahead.
I agree.
So when you agreed to take him shopping, who was going to be paying for the clothing?
I paid for the clothing.
Right, but was he going to have to pay you back?
Yes.
Did he know that?
Yes.
Did you tell him that?
Yes, and I have text where he says I will pay you back.
Okay, and at the time that you went shopping, was the agreement that he was going to pay you back?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens?
I was like, well, when am I going to get my money back?
Well, tell me, you go shopping and how much is spent?
100 and...
Is that the $158.65?
Correct.
Do you have the receipts?
Yes.
May I have them?
Yes.
And that was, can you stop that?
Sorry.
Okay. And that was for what? Like what kind of items?
He bought like a couple of pairs of jeans and some shirts, underwear. I kind of felt like he was, pretty much had nothing.
Okay. So then what happens?
I wasn't getting any information back from him about, getting money back. I was like, when am I going to get money back?
When did you first bring that up to him?
The next day.
Oh, okay.
The day of were phone conversations and conversations in the park. But then I realized, because I see your show, and I say, I need to get this on text.
Oh.
Okay, so
somebody's listening out there.
I need to get this on text. So I made him send me a bunch of texts that say, yes, I'm going to pay you back the $150. I only told him to just pay me the $150. I was not nickeling and diming him.
Right, and then it came up with another $341 for harassment. What's the harassment?
Well, the harassment started when I realized that I was not going to get my money. And I needed to file a small claims court, small claims, but I needed his information and I didn't know his real name. So I told him that my husband was wealthy and I sent him a picture of a lot of cash. And I said, I can lend you some more money and send it to you, Western Union. if you send me your information.
And he did?
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, I would like to speak to the brain surgeon who borrows $150. You loan it to him and you don't even know the guy's name.
Well, I know that his
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You had no way other than this ruse to find out who he was.
You're absolutely
And then now let's hear from you, who gets told by a guy who's hawking you to pay him, just send me your real information. Here's a picture of Monet. What, Mo money? You know, and then you give him your real name and number to wire it to.
I'm not the one holding back any names or hiding any names, Roy.
Okay, but you wouldn't tell
First
him
of
your
all,
real name.
Yes,
He's
my name is regardless, I gave him my address.
Okay.
So when Einstein over here decided to do a web search and, he found out my parents' age and who I was living with, he decided to start pursuing harassment phone calls to my 68-year-old mother, my 75-year-old father, telling them
that's
that,
not true.
Hold on.
telling them that, your son owes me this and that, and you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble, and that you were in on a scam of buying clothes for him or making me buy clothes for him or something. Where do I start with this individual? The kid is a mental case himself. He just
So why don't you just pay him back what you owe him and we'll move on?
pay him back what? Actually, I'm
What
not
is your
gonna,
defense?
Because he offered to take me out to buy a couple of clothes. He's like, you want to go shopping? I was like, I don't have any cash. He's like, don't worry about it. It's on me.
Did you send him text saying that you'd pay him the $150?
No, I sent him text. I was like, dude, relax. All right, you'll get your money back, whatever. Because he wouldn't stop texting me. I was like, all right, if that's what
So
it's
if
all
you
about.
did, then why didn't you just pay him back?
Because he wouldn't stop with the sexual harassment, his perverted texts, his telling me his syringes, his drugs, his pills. He was telling me how he has connections and contacts from India, and he gets all his drugs imported illegally from Indian doctors and scripts from doctors from India.
Again, how did you meet?
From rehab. He got kicked out of rehab because he wasn't
What were you doing
cooperating.
there? Do you work there?
No, I was actually intoxicated. I was just working on alcohol issues,
Okay.
which I've stopped.
Why don't you return some of the clothes? Don't stress. If you can't pay for it, return some of the clothes. Your answer, no, I don't want to return anything back. I need clothes. I need money. Meaning I still need to buy clothes, but more important is I need money.
Right, okay. That, first of all,
I said
okay.
I had to finish this first. Food stamps and small cash assistance.
Food
That's what I
stamps.
told you. We can meet up right after this.
I mean, I had texts from him that I was getting about 100 texts a day from this person. Whether he was
Do you
telling
have your
me,
phone so you can show me that?
Yeah, but I didn't keep them. I didn't keep
Okay.
all my texts.
So you actually went through the effort of deleting them?
I went through the effort of upgrading my phone to an unlimited plan because Roy over here decided to have a disco dance off of my phone, singing, dancing, prancing, showing me all
You know
types
what?
of
I don't like your
images.
tone. I think
sorry.
you're making fun of him because he's gay.
No. I mean, he all brought that
Either
up.
you owe him the money or you don't. It's simple.
I don't. It's very simple.
It's very simple, except for that you think that this is some kind of joke, and I don't.
I believe he's a joke. I don't think this
I
is a
kind of
joke.
think you're a joke.
Okay, well.
Because, you're trying to be this Mr. Tough guy. Look at me. I don't need any money. I don't need any clothes. He
No,
told
no.
me he'd take me
Okay.
shopping. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, what you're doing is taking advantage of a guy who's trying to be nice to you, who pays for your clothes, then expects to get paid. And then I see text after text where you're telling him, oh, yeah, I'll pay. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything, Judge. Just because I say it. Well, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes, Judge, when you read that? He's just prancing around, Judge. He's sexually harassing me. He's not sexually harassing you. The guy's just talking to you, telling you, I'd like you to pay me. When do you think you can pay
You're
me?
only reading text off his phone that he's
Then
showing.
show me your phone.
All right, I have limited.
Stay where you are. Hand it to my bailiff.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if you owe somebody money, but they sexually harass you, can you say, that's it? I'm not paying you the money.
No, you owe the money.
But they're saying you damaged me too by doing what you did. Can you call it even, Steven, if that happens?
No.
Why?
I just feel like if you owe money to somebody, then you have to pay them back because regardless how they treat you, it's only fair.
I don't know how to argue with that. I don't know how. Going inside the courtroom.
Send me some cash, you say to him. Oh, he does sort of come on to you. All right, now you have a counterclaim against him for $5,000. What
Right.
would that be for?
For unbelievable sexual harassment texts that I was receiving from him. Showing
Do
me
you have those to show me?
They were all on the phone. No, that phone's like a prepaid phone, so I had to change my plan. I was on a $25 a month plan, then I had to change it to a $50 unlimited plan.
So
when I
how are you
met
going to
Roy.
prove your case for
Well,
$5,000?
one way you could do it is you could go online. I could have gone online and just gotten just text dates and.
Thank you for correcting that. I cannot call you. Could have gotten
I could have,
online.
yeah, but no.
Did
The
you
only
do
way
that?
that a judge could do it is to subpoena it. Is to subpoena my phone.
Or you could do it because it's your account.
No, I can't. I called up the phone company. They need a judge to subpoena it.
Anything else that you wish to put on to prove the $5,000 of harassment?
I mean, yeah, when you're calling up, when you're claiming that I have a
To prove it, not to prove it.
It's on that phone. He says that he's going to call up my poor 68-year-old mother and 75-year-old. They were in on a scam.
Okay, hold on. Your mom and dad will both be on the claim because they were in on the scam and will have to report to court. Why would you say such a thing? That's complete horse manure.
I was just trying to scare him.
Trying to get him to pay you?
Yes, I was trying to get him to pay me.
Did you say that to his parents? Did you ever communicate with his parents?
No, are you kidding?
okay.
No.
Did you ever call his parents?
No.
Did you ever talk to his parents?
No.
Did you ever call his house and talk to his parents?
I don't even know their number.
But he knew their age.
I knew their age because I Googled it.
And he paid the fees, of course.
Yeah, but are you suggesting he harassed your parents?
Yeah. My mom was like, what happened? Who do you owe money to? Who's this person calling my house?
Okay, because according to your mom, she spoke to him, he called the house?
Yes.
So you could have an affidavit from your mom right now that says he called the house nonstop, harassing him.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
I don't have an affidavit.
Oh.
I mean, you want to call her up and ask her? The lady's like sick in bed.
No,
The lady's like sick in bed. I don't know what to tell
Okay,
you.
but,
I was
you
just
know.
trying to bring it up. Ma, don't worry about it. I go to her.
Okay. You're offering to get him pills?
No. I did mention pills to him, but I wanted to keep him on the...
Why don't you guys grow up and put your big boy pants on? I don't know what you're going for, because if you had just paid the $150 back that your mouth was saying you'd do, we wouldn't be here. You know what? I don't even want to waste any more time. I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of the $158.65. As to the additional $341.35 for harassment that you're suing for and the $5,000 for harassment that you're suing for, I think you're both kind of sick and you kind of like this, because otherwise you wouldn't spend this kind of time answering each other's texts back and forth. You kind of liked going back and forth and the banter. You probably showed it to your friends and everything else. So I don't really find that you're harassed. I think you were amused and entertained, okay? And let me tell you something. Number one, you need to figure out where you're going to be spending money. I don't know why you loaned him the money. You want everybody to believe it's because you were being a nice guy, because you're seeing him down and out.
No, because
I read your text. You may have, in fact, been interested in him. And you, clearly, having read your text, didn't mind that he thought that, because you thought you could milk him and hustle him more for it. But at the end of the day, you must have said on 17 different occasions you were going to pay the guy back. And the only reason that you're here is because you never went ahead and paid the $150 that you say is nothing to you to the guy you said you'd pay it to. Okay, so no, that's not your invitation to continue flapping your gums. Take a good look at the man that you are and decide the man you want to be. And I say that to both of you. Okay? Good luck.
So let's get some reaction from the defendant coming out here. He gets 158 out of this case. And what do you make of the judge's last words to you about looking in the mirror?
Nothing really. I mean, nothing really to go over with. I mean, I already know exactly what I was dealing with, who I was dealing with, and what situations were. So,
do you feel guilty at all that you may have taken advantage of him in some way?
Not at all.
No?
No.
All right, right down this way, okay. All right, so the plaintiff comes out here, not with everything you sued for, but what do you see when you look in the mirror now?
I'm happy. I'm happy with the judge's decision. I wish he would have listened more to the threats about me being put in a wheelchair and being put in the Special Olympics and about my gay rights.
Well, why be so nice to him and buy him clothing?
He was very nice to me. We had formed like a large group of friends when we were at where we were at, and he kind of reminded me of my brother. And I felt really bad. I'd been in his situation before, and someone helped me, and so I felt like I needed to pay it forward.
Let's go to Harvey.
Well, here's the thing. You may have a separate claim against somebody and may even be a legitimate claim, but that doesn't cancel out the debt that you owe. If you owe the money, you owe the money. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.